Hi guys, this is SDJRSNF88 speaking, with an update on the progress on the G-Scale Garden Railway. Now, not much has happened over the past month. August has been really a bit of a washout, but today, being early September, there's been an extremely lovely day, almost like a sort of a midsummer heat wave today. So I thought I'd pop outside and do a bit of running and of course a bit of filming. As can be seen for this update, we do have a train running, Blagdon and Buckham Light Railway number 1, there holding a mixed goods. So I thought that would be add a bit of interest to this video. Now first of all, I'd like to say a big thank you to Tim. As seen in one of my previous videos, I made a visit to the Hope Valley Garden Railway, which is Tim's garden railway, and it really is something else. It's more like a real railway network than it is a garden railway. He's done absolutely amazing job. You know, it's all automated, trains can be operated via like signals and everything. It's absolutely brilliant. So I'd like to thank Tim ever so much for the invite, and I will return the favour at some point for you to come and visit the Blagdon and Buckham Light Railway here. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that video, and hopefully there may be more visits to the Hope Valley Railway, the Hope Garden Railway in the near future. So anyway, let's continue with the update. With all the wet weather we've had in August, it's inevitable that the ballast would do a bit of moving about, and true to its word, it has. Now when I first added the ballast, I by no means thought that it was going to permanently stay there. I added what supported the track and what looked good at the time, but I knew that I probably would have to top it up after we had some rain, and we did have some very torrential downpours during August, which has meant much of it has moved around. And as you can see, this section here, you can see the edge of the sleepers are now exposed. It's sort of, you can't quite get it from this angle, but this the rails are actually about an inch higher than the, or half an inch higher than the larger scale ballast, which you can see to the bottom left of the screen. So basically what's happened is the ballast has sort of slid away. It looks flat on the screen, but it's quite a like sort of severe sort of embankment-y sort of thing there, and basically it's slid away. So what I've got to do is I've got to get some of the ballast that I've left over and top up this area. Now there are a number of other areas like this around the layout which will need topping up, and you know, like I mentioned, I was expecting this, so that's why I kept ballast sort of left over. And basically I'll go around and chuck a bit more ballast on those areas, and hopefully when it rains next, because it's all moved around, it should have bedded in, so it shouldn't slide away next time it rains. With all the rain, the plants around the line have had a bit of a growth spurt, and these ones here, as can be seen, have had a little trim to avoid them from encroaching on the line itself. The one that the engine's passing now in particular had to have quite a substantial cutback just to make sure it didn't derail anything, but as can be seen, it's now clear and it's done quite well. As mentioned in the last update, there were quite a lot of weeds which were a real problem, and there were a fair number of them after all these rainstorms and stuff. So what we have done is we pulled them out, and touch wood at the moment they haven't come back. There's been a bit of rain since they were pulled out, and they still haven't come back. So I think if we go around keep on pulling them out, they should stop coming back. But if they do keep on coming back, as I mentioned, I'm thinking about getting a spot-on treatment to see to them. But at the moment, just pulling them out seems to be doing the trick, which is good news. Naturally, before I got trains running again on the line, I had to do a bit of cleaning. Now, one thing I noticed in particular, especially around the back of the track, which goes from the suspension bridge, sort of in between the wall of the house and around sort of through a cutting with a fair few plants, to the passing loop, which we can see here, where there's a nice sort of bush which is just above the shot here. The track is dirtier than it is around the front. Now what I think it is, I think it's sort of the sort of the stuff come off the plants, I forgot what you call it now, sort of like moss and stuff like that, and it's causing a build-up of dirt and grime on the rails. Now after a good rub you can see they've come up quite nice and shiny, but the sides of the rails haven't really. And I know over time, with the rails being outside and being exposed to all the elements, they are going to go dirty and they're not going to go the nice sort of brass colour they originally are from new, and I'm not expecting that. But with these really dirty areas, it is quite a substantial thick build-up. So if any G-scale modelers are out there, and of course Tim, I will talk to Tim about this, I forgot to mention it when I visited his railway. But if anybody has any solutions for getting sort of that really thick sort of dirt and grime off the rails in these particular areas, it'd be of great help to me. While I'm over here and we have the train in operation, I can show you my little setup on how I actually run the train. Now this is just a towel I've just put down to stop the controller from being rested on any dirt or anything. But we got an extension lead here, which obviously comes from the house, supplying power to the controller. We've got the controller here, and then this exposed section of track, the little groove that I mentioned in previous updates that I've left exposed for this connection. You can see where I've put the wires under the track and connect them to it so the power goes to the rails. Now I do remove these after every running session, so that's why there's the gap underneath. But what I do plan to do in the near future is get 2 strips of wood, put one on there and one on the other side, so there's just enough room in between these pieces of wood that I could put my hand under the rails and tighten and untighten the power clips there. Then on each to the left and to the right of the wood, I will fill it up with ballast so it's right up to the edge. So it almost looked like a little drainage gully, but obviously its main method is so I can use it to connect these power clips. The pond side siding has been put on hold for the moment. As can be seen, nature has sort of reclaimed the land that was cleared for that siding, but and will have to be cleared again. But I'm still planning installing this siding. It's just finding the time to do so. If we do have another day like this in August, that would be one of the things to do, as I really want to get it down before winter sort of sets in, so the points are left exposed, which is just where you just saw the tail end of the train pass over now. I don't really want to leave that exposed in case we get snow and ice and all that. I really want to put the track, join it all up and have it in place, even if it's just a track resting on top of the sort of the foundations for it. But if we get a nice day, that will be the first thing on my list. On a lighter note, if you can see what I did there, we have the Lighthouse, which I mentioned in the last update, and quite a few thought it was a really great idea. So not long after reading your comments, I popped out to a local garden centre where they actually had one in stock, and this is it. It's under £20 and it is solar powered. So on the top of the dome there, or whatever you call the top of the light on top of the lighthouse, there's a little square section which is on the opposite side, which is roughly where the engine's to now, and that is a little solar panel, and that basically picks up the energy from the sun and it stores it. It doesn't operate during the day. When it's daytime, the light automatically is switched off, but at night time it uses the battery that's been charged and basically shines all the way through in the night, and it really does look brilliant. Now it doesn't flash or rotate like the one that I mentioned, as this one is a bit of a different one, but this one was slightly cheaper, but nevertheless, even though it's a permanent light, it really does look lovely at night. It reflects in the pond and it shines off the rails. It really is a lovely feature to have. So yeah, it really fits in there quite well. And maybe in the near future I am tempted of thinking about getting the solar powered windmill, which I think will look great on the hill behind the pond side siding. Now, one major change since the last update, although nothing really to do with the garden railway itself, is this display case. Now, one problem I have had is where to store the rolling stock, as many of the locomotives and wagons themselves actually come from train sets, and as you know, the train set boxes, as seen in the toy train review, which we can see through the glass there, the boxes are absolutely massive, and it's one thing storing the rolling stock inside those boxes, but it's another thing trying to find where to store those boxes. They are absolutely massive. So this display case, which came from IKEA, was the perfect solution. As you can see, there are going to be 6 shelves in there. There are only 4 in there at the moment, but as you can see, all the locomotives that I currently have are all in there. You've got the the toy train starter locomotive at the top there, And then below that we have the green LGB stains, or B&BLR number 2. And then below that we have B&BLR number 3, which is the red stains locomotive. And then below that there's a wooden shelf which separates the two shelves themselves, the two sections of the display cabinet. And then below that there are some more glass shelves, one of which I have installed, which is for the little red coach, which currently doesn't have a box. But if I zoom out and just open up the door a moment, there we go. We can see they fit in there really, really nicely. And it really is a nice way to sort of display the models, because it's all well and good putting them in their boxes, but with these locomotives, they are almost in a way a works of art. They're just really, really beautiful. So what better way than to display them in a display cabinet? And yeah, I was surprised with the price of this cabinet as well. We're looking at cabinets and they were really expensive, but this cabinet itself was under £50, which is unbelievable. And as you can see, it's quite a size. It's about 1.5 meters in height. And because of all the glass shelves and everything, one added extra we have decided to add is, I'm not sure if you can see it in the pile of mess down the bottom there, is some LED lighting, which I will wire up at a later date, but that was only £11, and that'll be stuck on a shelf, on the wooden shelf there where the red coach is to, because obviously the light won't get through from the top one, and of course at the top there, so at night just flip the switches on and there should be a nice sort of interior lighting, so it'll almost be like a little display feature for the room. Well, I guess that's it for this G-Scale Garden Railway update. Sorry there's not been much progress, but as mentioned, the weather hasn't been too kind this summer. But with a nice day like this, hopefully there will be a few more, and a bit more progress will be done. So you never know, this may be another update to follow this one this year. But again, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Tim for the visit to the Hope Garden Railway. Really is superb, and do check out the link to my video from my visit. Although it was a very short video because the rain sadly came halfway through filming, but hopefully there'll be a chance to visit again at some point, and of course like I said earlier on, return the favour and show him the railway. So do check out his video, and I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. But anyway, that's all for now. There are a few running videos to come, which I have filmed today as well, so do keep an eye out for those. But for now, this has been SDJRSNF88 speaking, and thanks for watching.